Hello and welcome to Q&A 17, and a member of GoldPass asked me how one would go about drawing a line/label to show the position of a stop loss amount in a little snippet such as the one that is shown on the screen here. Now what I'm going to do is, first of all, in order to demonstrate this, I'm just going to build a very small strategy, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to rewrite this functionality a little bit. So let's start off by just deleting this and start from scratch. So I'm going to create a little moving average, little strategy based on moving averages, just for the sake of argument, not because this is necessarily or even a good way of creating a strategy, but just going to create it based on close and fast length, slow length. Going to make fast length 9 and going to make slow length equal to 18. So creating two variables here, which I will declare in a moment. Fast average and slow average equals average fast calculation C18, like so. And what we're going to say is if current bar greater than 1, and we're going to do that so that we don't get a spurious cross beginning of the chart or near the beginning of the chart, and fast average crosses over slow average, then buy. Next bar at market. Okay, so that is super simple, and let's go back. What I need to do is declare a couple of variables, so I'm going to do that up here. And those variables can be fast average and slow average, like so. Okay, so that is the functionality to get us into a trade. What we now need to do is build some stop loss functionality. Now, I'm going to do this based on per share rather than position. So I'm going to set stop share or set stop contract. They are synonymous, and we now need to build in the stop functionality. And what I'm going to do is going to create another variable called set, or rather stop STP loss amount. Okay, and going to calculate that right now. So we're going to say sets if entry price is not 0, then set stop loss amount STP loss AMT equals to the entry price times by, I'm going to create an input here called stop loss percent. It's actually really more of a factor because it's not dividing by 100, but I'm going to create that up here, call it input, and it's going to copy the word. So for example, 5% would be 0.05, like so. That's quite a large amount, so what I'm going to do for the sake of this program is to make it 0.001, and because that's just a price move, and because set stop loss is expecting a value, we need to multiply this by big point value. In other words, the stop loss amount is equal to the movement, or rather the percentage of the entry price, but that's not what the stock or contract is actually worth. We need to multiply that by big point value, and I'm going to add an else here. In other words, if we're currently flat, then we're just going to make the stop loss value, or the stop loss amount, equal to basically the same calculation, but I'm just going to change that to close. Because, and the reason we've done that is it is good practice to have this word actually run on every bar, and we can do that if we calculate the stop loss amount somewhere else. Okay, so that is the basic functionality of the program, and what I want to do now is just have a look at that. It's already applied to the chart, so we should hopefully see some trades. Okay, we're seeing a trade there, a buy and a stop loss. So what we ultimately want to see is a line going here, and I'll probably do the label in another Q&A, but I'm going to first of all concentrate on the line. Okay, so we now want to draw a line on the chart, so we're going to do that. We're going to say value 1 is equal to TL underscore new, and we're going to go date, last bar, time, last bar. Now the value where we want to put it is actually equal to entry price times 1 minus the stop loss percentage. So we just need to multiply this, or rather modify this a little bit, like so, and I'm going to do that from date, last bar, date, time, last bar, to date, this bar, time, this bar, and the value is going to be the same. Okay, so let's see if that verifies, and hopefully we should see a line on the chart. Okay, we do. Now, one thing you'll notice though is that that line is somewhat displaced from where we actually exit the trade, and the reason for that is because the calculation has obviously come up with a value that it's not possible for the trade, in this particular case the E-mini, to exit at. So what we need to do is round that value down. Okay, so what I'm going to do is show you how you could do that. So I'm just going to take this value here, and what I'm going to do is say value 2 is equal to that value. Now what we want to do is find out how many ticks, how many whole ticks are in this value. So what I'm going to do is calculate the tick val right up here at the beginning of the program, so that we don't need to keep doing it. I'll call it tick val, and that we know is equal to min move divided by price scale, like so. Okay, so we're going to say how many ticks are in this value. This is probably going to come up with a fraction. So what we then need to do is we need to round this down to find out the whole number of ticks. We do that using the round keyword, and round it down to 0 decimal places, and then having rounded it down, we then need to multiply by the tick value again to give us the whole number. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is replace the previous value in this line, which was entry price multiplied by 1 minus stop loss percent, with this value 2, like so. I'm going to press F3. Hopefully our syntax is correct. It appears to be, and there we go. And you'll see now that that line is drawn at the same level as the actual price where the program stops out this particular position. Anyway, I hope you might find this useful. I will include this little snippet of code underneath this Q&A, and as I say, I probably will be doing another Q&A to draw or include a label showing the stop loss level. Thank you.